We are officially in the home stretch. Less than a week, 5 days until Election Day. And there is a lot of concern about what is going to happen on election night.
Country.
What happens on election night, what happens the day after.
50% of the people in this country right now are not down for accepting the election results. That's the latest polling.
Each side thinks the other side is an existential threat to our country.
Look at this picture this is unbelievable. This is a school board candidate in New Jersey wearing a T-shirt, "Where is Nancy?" Celebrating that. It is just
referring to the attack at Nancy Pelosi's home in San Francisco.
It's appalling what's going on right now. But it's so much at stake. We wanted to bring somebody in who knows as much about this as anybody.
Polling expert who we've had on before, always keeping us plugged into what's the latest at the polls as we head into elections. Frank Luntz, welcome back to TMZ Live. How are you doing?
Hey, Frank.
I'm surviving, but I'm frightened, as you guys are, of what's going to happen on Tuesday. Quite frankly, ground zero, the place you want to be, if you want to see the chaos, is going to be Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Because in Philadelphia, they count the ballots so slow, and that state's got an incredibly close Senate race. You have election deniers on both sides, and I don't know who's going to win there, but I do know that it's going to take not hours, but days for us to figure out who's controlling the Senate, who's controlling the House, and that's bad news for this country.
So yesterday we had General Russell Honore on to talk to us about the Capitol Police, about security in the wake of Paul Pelosi. And at the end, we asked him, what he thought about these elections and the threat to democracy. Personally, I am deeply worried and even pessimistic about what's going to happen in the next 2 years in this country because of elections. That's your job. That's your career. We're dying to know your feeling about it.
It breaks my heart. It's one of the reasons I'm teaching all across, not just the country, but the globe. I'm trying to explain to my students at Radley College in the UK what I tell my students at USC or West Point. The idea that you can no longer depend on this country to conduct a free, fair, accountable, and immediate election. That it will take us not hours, but days to figure out who won. And at both sides, they don't care about the process. They don't care about the outcome. They only care about who's going to win. And that's a mistake in this country, and people ought to be really pissed off. Look, you have a very young audience, and your audience is very concerned about the future. And I'm here to tell them they have every right to be nervous. These are not the elections that you and I experienced decades ago.
Right.
It's quite different now. And the anger and the divisiveness, and frankly, it's toxic, and the polarization could tear this country apart.
I'm curious if, when you go to sleep at night, you wonder, how long is polling going to be meaningful anymore? Because it almost doesn't matter if, you're talking about the way people are tending to vote, but none of it matters because the people who lose are just not going to accept it anymore.
Well, you got the question wrong. I don't sleep at night. I don't go to sleep at night. And that's the problem. I get 2 or 3 hours of sleep because I'm always trying to figure out how to get people to cooperate, how to get people to listen. I want to know their point of view. I want to give every American the chance to be heard. I want to restore your voice and your vote. Unfortunately, there are too many politicians that don't care about either, and they only care about what happens at the end.
It seems to me the people who can actually lead this and get the voters to believe whatever the outcome is are the politicians themselves. So even, and I hate to say this, I hear what you're saying, that you are traveling around the world, you are speaking to students, but if the politician that they are supporting says, if I lose, they stole it, well then, who do they believe?
So here's the problem. We now get our news to affirm us rather than inform us.
Right.
Tell me what channel you're watching or what website you're visiting. I'll tell you who you voted for in 95 out of 100 cases.
Wow.
If you're watching me right now, no more games, no more shouting, no more division. Please find someone you disagree with and hug them and thank them for their point of view. Because in the end, our country's future may be at stake.
I love what you just said, but I think a lot of people in this country really aren't down for the nuts and bolts of democracy. That You know, they're not into free speech when it's speech people disagree with. They are not into fundamentals like believing in election results. And when you really start breaking it down and you see the number of people, every poll, it seems more and more of them are questioning all of these things. We have this tribalism. I honestly believe there are just a lot of people in this country, even though we live in a democratic country, don't believe in democracy.
Yeah, I've got the solution for that. As soon as this interview is over, as soon as this segment is over, shut off your computer and read a damn book. There is a direct correlation between book reading and support for democracy. There's a direct correlation between reading a book and the willingness to have a civil conversation like we are right now. I don't want to hurt your ratings. I want you to sell ads. But as soon as we're done with this show, shut off your computer, turn off your television set, and pick up not a coloring book. Can't be Donald Trump. Don't pick up a coloring book. Pick up a real book and read it, and you'll be a better citizen for it.
I feel like we've just been very, very negative here.
Because that's the state of the world, right? The state of the country right now.
But look, I think that, Frank, you have offered people some, some actual actions that they can take here that can make this better, and I hope that people heed your words.
Yeah.
No, if it doesn't work this time, we got 2 more years. But mark my words, if they heed them, we are 2 elections away from a total collapse. Let's hope that this election is what turns it and heads us in the right direction. Because I think if we have another presidential election like the last one, then truly our electoral system will be in jeopardy.
I could not agree with you more. Frank,
thanks so
we
much
love
for being
having
with
you
us.
on. Thank you so much.
Got it, guys. Thank you.
All right. Sorry for being so negative, but honestly, that's my honest feeling.
No, it is hard. It is hard to find something positive, but I do think that those were really key things that he talked about there that can turn the tide if we want to.
If we want to is the key.
We should all want to.